From the heart of the Cape, welcome aboard for the Friday, August 22nd edition of Barnstable Today. Hello, I'm Mark Mumford.
A marathon 5.5-hour town council meeting provides our lead story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
They came awfully close to burning the midnight oil in Town Hall last night, with one of many highlights being fresh appointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
43. Yes, let me read this and let me preface it at the end of the reading that I'm going to be asking for a suspension of the rules so that we can vote on this. So, in fact, well, I'm going to ask your opinion, Madam President. Do you want me to do that motion for a suspension now?
Read them in, and then we have to
Fine.
move to suspend the rules.
Okay, thank you. Item 2009-019, appointments to board, committee, or commissions. Resolve that the town appoint the following individuals to a multiple-member board, committee, or commission to the Zoning Board of Appeals for regular membership. Michael P. Hersey of Hyannis for a term to expire 2011. Craig G. Larson of Marston's Mills for a term to expire in 2011. James F. McGillen of Osterville for a term to expire 2009. William H. Newton of Katuitt for a term to expire 2010. For associate membership, Brian Florence of Marston's Mills for a term to expire 2011, and Alex M. Rodalakis of Centerville for a term to expire 2010.
So is there any other discussion about this slate? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? Anybody opposed?
We'll have more
Okay.
from last night's town council session coming up on Monday.
Meanwhile, it was a big day for some young quahogs yesterday in the waters of Katuitt.
Chris Clark and Amy Rado of the Natural Resources Department were joined by a group of volunteers.
They were dispersing 300,000 juvenile quahogs they had been nurturing all summer from seed.
Chris, tell us what was taking place this morning.
Today we planted the last of our 3-day series of planting quahog seed that has been graduated from the floating upweller into now the field, planted under predator exclusion netting so that we can ensure its recovery and successful growth for until they become little necks.
What are the numbers? How many did you put in here?
As of today, we have now planted here off a Little River landing 300,000 quahog seed.
And I heard you're also showing some of the volunteers and folks that were down here this morning some of the seed that was planted last year, and how's that coming along?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's doing as we expected. It grew well under the nets from last year. We planted last year's crop on September 29th, and we took a peek under the nets, and they're about quarter sized.
So how do you feel overall about the quahog situation in this neck of the woods?
I think the town of Barnstable residents and the shellfish license holders have a lot to look forward to. I'm feeling very good about this, thanks to my trusty assistant, Amy.
Yeah, Amy, we saw you out there mucking about this morning, and give us a sense, beautiful day to be out here. Tell us about the project from your perspective.
From my perspective, what I do is usually a lot of it's on shore. I make sure that the nets are that they have good integrity before we put them in the water. We do try to recycle nets for as many years as we can. So when we pull out nets from previous years, they often have holes in them that need to be patched before they can be put out again. If there are any large holes, then the seed could fall through them, and then we won't have good numbers for our recovery rates or anything like that. So I do mostly that up on the shore while they kind of clear out the areas for planting and then send the nets on their way. And what I was doing before was just taking a peek into some of the crab traps that we also have deployed outside the nets to help in predator control.
Now, the crabs and the conchs, are those the big predators?
Yeah, and the seagulls, but there's not much you can do about those.
So all in all, another plus for the quahog scene.
Yes, I'd say so. Today we were blessed with perfect weather, and 14 volunteers came today. We've had volunteers every day of this three-day working series, which we typically target around the lowest tides of the month. They usually coincide with the full moon and the new moons of the month.
Tell us, you're out here volunteering, helping with the effort to get some quahogs in here. Just tell us about the process you've been involved with.
Sure. Well, I've been doing it for a number of years. Basically, over the last 3 days, we put in 20 nets, not myself, but the whole group. I think a total of 300,000 quahogs that ought to be matured over the next 2 or 3 years. And hey, it's a lot of fun. It's good exercise. Get outdoors. Besides that, hey, I have nothing else.
What motivates you to come out here and spend some of your valuable time helping out with this?
I like being out on the water this time of day, and actually, a lot of times when we're doing this, when we're before we put the nets down, we rake the area clear, mainly to get rid of any predators like crabs, and also rake out any large quahogs that happen to be in there, and so we get to keep the legal size stuff. So I don't think we got that much today, but on some days I go home with a whole bunch and no effort really.
Now, Chris Clark also was giving you maybe a look at some of the ones that were planted last year. Did you get a chance to see how they're coming along? How are they coming along?
They look pretty good. They're maturing well. Looks like this is going to be a great area, and I'm sure a lot of the commercial and recreational fishermen are going to enjoy coming out here and quahogging over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's great putting them in, but it's good when they come back out as well, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. The other advantage of doing this is we know where they are.
and you just don't get it. I don't know what it was like yesterday, but you don't get a much better day than this, do you?
Nah, you can't beat this. We got a good turnout today, and I think a lot of it is driven by the weather and the conditions here. So,
and we know some of the people out here are members of bars, but it's also just plain old volunteers. Well, volunteers, not plain old, but volunteers as well.
Yeah, well, actually, bars is what got me into this. I'd never done any shellfishing until a guy who lived 2 doors down from me. His name is Stan Negus. Came over and said, "Can you help us out with a logo?" And I said, "Sure." So I did the logo and some other stuff for them. So they gave me a basket and a rake. So I got my license and some waders, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, I guess this is for the Cape Cod experience. I would think this is one of the main portions of it that people should really get interested in if they can.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and they're always looking for more volunteers too. So we seem like there's a good changeover. Some people coming in, leaving. So if anybody's interested, they certainly should talk to Chris or the Department of Natural Resource folks. And we're always looking for more folks. And it's interesting. You learn a lot here. I mean, a number of years ago, I did this as far as the process, and I know you talked about it. Raking the bottom, getting rid of getting the crabs and the conchs away. But there's also the nets, preparing the nets, and marking them and stapling them. So it's good exercise. You use your mind a little bit with your body, and it's a lot of fun.
As you can see, glorious conditions weather-wise yesterday at Katuitt, and more of the same coming up for the entire weekend. Tonight, clear and comfortable, down into the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny with gentle winds out of the south-southwest, highs in the upper 70s. And on Sunday, more sunshine again with highs again in the upper 70s.
Don't forget the deadline to register to vote is coming up quickly on the 27th of this month. And also, Town Clerk Linda Hutchenrider is still looking for poll workers.
And you're running out of time if you want to vote in the Silver Plate Art Contest over at the Senior Center. You can check out the finalists and cast your vote up through Monday.
Meanwhile, we leave you with some scenic video shot here in the town of Barnstable. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here on Monday. I'm Mark Mumford.
Answer any questions.